keeping the club more this way, we're immediately like this. Well, 50% of this is hinge, 50% of this is turn. Watch what happens if I just turn. If this is like ground zero right here, 10 degrees out, 10 degrees up. There's a little air bubble up there that you probably want to feel like you hit every time as somebody that does what? 10 degrees low, 10 degrees in to create this hinge. And the way that I'm doing that is I'm just pushing down on the handle slightly.
That's pretty normal right now.
That's pretty normal, the high right one?
Yep.
Yep, I gotcha.
And it gets worse as I get to my driver.
Okay.
Like that.
When we look at this takeaway, watch how quickly the butt end of the club points at the target. So watch this, guys. Rather than keeping the club more this way, we're immediately like this. And then the minute we start turning with that move, it's going to roll inside. Okay, rather than hinging it up more at that 45-degree angle, using the body's turn to move the club up the plane, the club gets behind us early. So watch this. Low and in, see that right there? Mm-hmm. And then the problem there is the butt end of the club points above the golf ball, gets behind us. Now watch Adam here. The club sets for him up that forearm, butt of the club to the golf ball, right? That's where we need it. He can then turn it. No manipulation from there. He can just drive the handle straight through as he rotates around. That first move, the club is facing, the butt of the club's pointed more for him at the inside of the left hip. Your first move is directly at the target. So keeping that club facing your body more, okay, is gonna feel like that club's out in front of you. Well, then your body's turn can move it right up the plane. I like to create this right angle here, okay? And then I split it in half with 45. This is the takeaway in a nutshell. And the best way I can explain the takeaway. If the ball line is right here, where this rod is here, the goal, and we always used to call this checkpoint 1, is to get the golf club when it's parallel to the ground, down the line of the feet in line with the hands, right? Not down here, not up here, right here. Well, specifically, what happens in order to get there? Well, 50% of this is hinge, 50% of this is turn. Watch what happens if I just turn.
Right, that's what happens when I try.
Exactly. Now ready? Look what happens if I just hinge. Right, it stays out there. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. This is just telling you how much hinge is happening and in what direction the hinge is happening, blended with a turn. So that's what I love about this. 50% hinge, 50% turn. Kev, come in here, show the viewer how they can set this up. 90-degree angle, here's the ball. This is just helping Kurt identify, hey, there's your hinge. That's all that's happening. Now you turn your body, and then the club, checkpoint 1's right there. Okay. That's the perfect spot. So your job is just to blend that today into one feel. There it is. There it is. And come back here, Kev, yeah. See, look how that's right in line with his hands, right down the line of his feet. Okay.
I have to make sure I don't do this.
Exactly right. So think about it. See how this, in your takeaway, watch this when we do it slow. It's like right there. See how the butt of the club's pointed more to the inside of your left hip? Mm-hmm. That's the feeling off the start for you. And hey, if we cut to the chase too, a big one that helps a lot of my players is this one. But here's the feeling you probably need to play with today. We call it the 10 and 10. If this is like ground zero right here, 10 degrees out, 10 degrees up. There's a little air bubble up there that you probably want to feel like you hit every time as somebody that does what? 10 degrees low, 10 degrees in, right? It's going to feel like it's not just in the exact spot, probably going to feel like it's out here and up there for somebody who's low and in like this. So I always say it's good for you to practice feeling the club up in front of your hands. That's the 10 and 10. And that's what we used to do in the past, you and I. So at home, here's your literal. You can get in there and just plug away at it and go, okay, well, hey, 50%, there's the hinge, there's the direction of the hinge. Okay, I'm going to get that feeling with a nice turn, blend that together in one feeling. There you go. But when you're playing out here, you're going to want to rehearse it.
And what do the hands do through this thing? Do they go straight back?
Think about it like this. Yeah, go ahead and set up. They're going straight back down the line.
Okay.
But here's the thing. See how that shut that club face is? Mm-hmm. You need to hinge that up there. That's the way you need to be. Now you can then release it on the way through and don't have to play the hang-on game. Yes. This should lead to more compression right away. There you go. Best swing of the day, 1 yard draw. I was telling Kevin over there and telling the audience too, this will lead to one of the best shots of the day of more compression. Boom, there it was. You're doing a really good job of that our viewer needs to do too. Even if it's the right thought, thoughts are speed bumps to a good swing. Even if it's the right thought. So you need to blend that into one feel and not even have that be something technical. At home, yeah, hey, 45, 45, a little bit of a turn. Okay, 10 and 10 as far as the rehearsal, out here, but you just blend that hinge and turn, hinge and turn, hinge and turn, one pace.
I'm concentrating too much on doing this.
You forget about, yeah.
Right.
You need a trigger for all of it.
I need to.
Get past
I've always
that.
had a hard time rotating and staying connected.
Yep.
So if I do this too much, I'm going to do this too much.
Exactly right.
I need to do this.
Hinge and turn, hinge and turn.
I need to do this.
And that's a big lesson, guys. If you followed us long enough, you know the turn is the driving force to the hinge. You're using this lead shoulder to push your hand away, pushing down on the handle, so you're not hinging, like Kurt said, independently of your body, which then leads to disconnection. You're using the left shoulder to push away and create that hinge, which allows the body's turn to move that to the top. We're then going to use the angle that we have here, Kurt, to create this hinge. And the way that I'm doing that is I'm just pushing down on the handle slightly. But for you, it's going to feel like you're pushing down more up in front of you.
I've always had a hard time with this part.
Big time. And you know what? Our tendency is this. The high handle, roll in, rather than the low handle, keep the club out in front.
Okay, so we want to get to here.
A little more toe up. Right there. There we go. We got a lot of questions about that, by the way. So see, that's to be exactly accurate right here, the leading edge should always match your spine angle. Like, think about it. If I was hitting a ball up here, then it would be the toe would be
here, it'd be here. If I was here,
exactly
it'd be here.
right. So
someplace in the middle.
I'm a big fan, though. I don't ever let my players play with an extremely shut face, because then they got to play the hang-on game and it causes back pain by having to rotate a certain way to hit the golf ball straight. If anything, I like the ability to be able to rotate and release and not fear hitting it left. So I always want my players to err on the side, if at all. If this is square leading edge matching spine angle, I like them to be slightly toe up, never too shut like this. The only time I let my players play with a shut face is when they have an extremely, extremely weak grip, and then they have to match up the club face to be a little bit more of that. You don't have that. You have a neutral grip, and we need to make sure that we have that toe a little more up in front of us, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's see that again.
So, bend over, hip, right?
Yeah, buddy. At Forzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.